by the Gambia Bureau of Statistics on Tuesday. And in international news, the head of the agency, the emergency response in Sudan for Doctors Without Borders, says at least 13 children die each day of severe malnutrition at the Zamzam camp in northern Darfur as a consequence of the war there. Those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay with us. Thank you so much for joining us, and I am Jenna Basonko. As we anticipate the country's 59th independence anniversary on February 18, the National Preparatory Committee briefed the media on Wednesday as it prepares to host the national dialogue among a series of events at the presidency. And Sumana Isonyasi was there, and he fastened this report.
This event will be the second such convergence organized by the presidency, bringing together all major actors in the country, including the opposition, the business community, religious leaders and civil society, among others. Ami Bojang Sisoho, Director of Press and Public Relations at the Office of the President, says the theme of the event is, "It is our collective responsibility to preserve our nation, safeguard the state and secure our resources," further revealing that the committee, which comprises representatives of government and various organizations, with the President's approval, identified the 12th of February for the President's dialogue with political party leaders, February 14th for stakeholders dialogue on the 6 identified thematic areas, and 16th of February for the national dialogue events.
His Excellency will be there to host the party leaders and other stakeholders who will be witnessing the process. The idea for that is to introduce the theme and the processes involving the national dialogue, so that as a country we can be talking with each other and look at our issues and how we need to address them.
John Charles Njai is a member of the National Preparatory Committee. He shares the 6 identified thematic areas and stakeholders expected to participate in the deliberations.
We have the political environment for sustainable peace and stability. That thematic group, or that thematic body, will be headed by Tango. Then we have the religious tolerance and for social cohesion. That thematic group will be co-chaired by the Supreme Islamic Council and the Gambia Christian Council. Thematic group 4, securing sovereignty, safeguarding stability and well-being. It will be headed by Dr. Barry. And then we have the last but not the least, irregular migration and empowerment, and the National Youth Council will be chairing or facilitating discussions on that thematic group.
Basiru J. of the National Youth Council, who also sits in the preparatory committee, calls on young people identified to participate in these national events to take advantage of what he calls an opportunity to share with relevant authorities issues affecting young people in the Gambia, with a view to addressing some of those challenges. Independence celebrations offer an opportunity for stock-taking on how we have fared as a country and how we can collectively confront some of the nation's most pressing challenges. Thus, the significance of the national dialogue, which the presidency considers a pathway to preserving peace, spurring economic growth and sustainable development. And Smaneso Nyase for KTV News.
Looking forward to this series of events, a Sierra Leonean community organization with branches in Sierra Leone, the UK, the USA and the Gambia today presented an award to the Q Group chairman Mohamed Jah in recognition of his achievements in Sierra Leone and the Gambia. More in this report by Julden Jai.
3 members of AWOL's executive presented the award to Mr. Jah at his office at the QCell headquarters on Karaba Avenue. Jibril M. Kanu, the president of AWOL Gambia, explained how Mr. Jah came to be chosen for the award.
AWOL Gambia come up with the National Achievements Award 2023 on the 15th day of December, which of course the businessman Mohamed Jah was nominated as the Best Businessman Award National in 2023. So we are here today to present this award to Mr. Mohamed Jah this blessed day today as the Best Businessman of the Year.
In accepting the award, Mr. Ja expressed his appreciation to AWOL for selecting him to honor in this way.
I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the Q Group family to thank you and your group for giving me this award.
He went on to speak about his strong ties to Sierra Leone.
My business journey, really started from Sierra Leone, as everybody knows, because I finished my degree in electrical and electronics engineering from Forobe College, University of Sierra Leone. I only studied in Gambia and Sierra Leone. I have not gone to any European country or to the US or anywhere to study. So my appreciation should always goes to Gambia and Sierra Leone. And that is why it's not surprising that our regional expansion started with Sierra Leone.
The Q Group chairman then spoke of QCell's expansion into Sierra Leone and the impact the company has had there. Mr. Ja then spoke of future plans for the Q Group family of companies in Sierra Leone.
When I went to Sierra Leone, before we started, the telecommunication network was very, very poor. Everybody was complaining, and also the price was very, very high. The cost was very high. We went in, and as we promised the government of Sierra Leone or the people of Sierra Leone, we went with the same mission we had in Gambia, and that is, one, to bring the best technology to the people of Sierra Leone and also to bring down the cost by a minimum of 60%.
As the AWOL executive members departed, Mohamed Ja, speaking Creole, once again thanked the organization for their good work, saying he looks forward to working with them in the future. All Walks of Life, AWOL, was founded by Sierra Leoneans in Gambia before going on to establish chapters in Sierra Leone, the United Kingdom, and the USA. It is a registered NGO and charity which, among other things, helps the neediest in the Sierra Leonean communities wherever they are based. The help includes paying school fees, offering scholarships, helping with medical and funeral expenses, among a range of services they provide. They also organize awards event honoring people from all walks of life. For QTV News, I am Julde Njai.
Congratulations to Q Group Chairman Mohamed Ja. Now moving on, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources have identified 5 areas in the Central River region and Katong in the West Coast region as part of the protected indigenous community conservation areas. The announcement was made by the Minister of Environment, Rohi John Manjang, at a press conference on Wednesday. Mohamed Gajaga attended the press conference and this is his report.
Rohi John Manjang, the Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources, says the Gambia is endowed with many bird species, mammals, reptiles and wild animals, some of which are listed in the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List of Threatened and Endangered Species.
The Gambia is home to more than 75 species of mammals, 47 species of reptiles and 30 species of amphibians, making a total of 152 species of wild animals. More than 70% of these species are listed in the International Union for Conservation of Nature, Red List of Threatened Species.
Minister Manjang added that the protection of these areas is part of implementing international environment obligations signed by the Gambia.
In response to the international environmental obligation, the government of the Gambia wishes to strengthen its commitment to CBD, the conservation of international trade in endangered species of wild fauna and flora, that is CITES, and the Convention of Wetlands of International Importance, the RAMSA. In fulfillment of this commitment from 1962 to 2020, a total of 23 protected areas have been established, covering an area of more than 96,000 hectares.
The government of the Gambia, in collaboration with the United Nations Environment Programme, has secured funding to implement the project.
The government of the Gambia, through the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, has secured financial aids from the Global Environment Facility, GEF, to implement the project entitled GEF 6, Land, Seascapes Planning and Ecosystem Restoration Project.
The protected conservation areas are Katong Halahina, Marine Park, Nyani Sukuta, Nyani Kayai, Jalani Bakadaji, and Jarumekoto swamplands. Buba Pate Jallo, advisor to the Minister of Environment, Mohamed Jaite, Director of Forestry, all explained the benefits of the project, especially to the beneficiary communities.
Conservation in itself has got a lot of benefits. And I think if we are conserving these areas, first of all, we are keeping the vegetation of that area sort of intact.
All the benefits, again, is supposed to be, handed over to the community. So which means whatever, benefit is generated, be it, the environmental benefits or, financial benefits and so on and so forth, is handed over to the community.
In these areas that have been conserved, there were other activities taking place, probably rice cultivation or other human activities. Now, if you ask the communities not to touch that area now, it means their livelihood have been affected. Now, what the project have done is to give them some alternative livelihood options, such as gardening, providing them with boreholes, beekeeping.
Amongst other things, this project aims to improve planning and enforcement systems to identify and address causes of land degradation and biodiversity loss. Mamudu Gajaga, KTV News.
From that story by Mamadou Gajaga, we'll now go for a short commercial break, and when we return, we have more local and international news stories. Do stay.
Step into the Espas Motors showroom for your luxurious name brand vehicle. Located along the Bertil Harding Highway, Espas Motors is the Gambia's authorized dealer for Chery, Kia, Ford, and now we bring you the new Peugeot model 3008 SUV. 18-inch alloy wheels, 216 inches high ground clearance, keyless entry system, start and stop button, rear parking assistance system with reverse camera, adaptive cruise control with speed limit, LED daytime running lights, front and side airbags, 8-inch HD touchscreen. Not to forget our exquisite Peugeot Landtrek double cabin pickup with 2.1-liter diesel engine, 6-speed manual transmission 4x4, hill descent control, LED daytime running lights. Espas Motors, the authorized dealer for Peugeot. Visit us today or call us on 35-22-222 or 353-4444. The future is now. With QCell's 5G network, experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled device. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I'm Jenna Bosonko. Now, a 12-day training for data collectors to test tools and other related equipment for a pilot census ahead of the May 2024 population and housing census was organized by the Gambia Bureau of Statistics on Tuesday. Children Jai tells us more.
The Gambia last conducted a population and housing census in April 2013. The census is conducted every 10 years. The objective of the census is to provide statistics on demographic, social and economic characteristics of the population, household and housing characteristics. This information helps central and local governments plan various social services such as education, health, housing, sanitation and others. Here is Nyakasi MB Sanyang, the Statistician General, highlighting the importance of the pilot census.
The pilot census is a comprehensive trial that tests all census procedures. It tests personnel, systems, and procedures in an end-to-end dress rehearsal, running through the entire process in a selected number of enumeration areas. Pilot census data are not expected to be statistically representative of the country's population. However, pilot census produce data that can be useful in identifying potential issues. Furthermore, testing is fundamental when new technologies or methodologies are introduced in a census. And as we know, the Gambia is conducting the digital census for the first time.
Lamin Kamara, the UNFPA Deputy Country Representative, highlights UNFPA's contribution towards ensuring the success of the upcoming census.
And this partnership will continue by providing both technical and financial assistance to the Bureau of Statistics, supporting the agency in the conduct of population and housing censuses and surveys, particularly the demographic and health survey. Over the years, our commitment extends beyond financial contributions as we continually support and contribute to the capacity building of GBOS staff by nominating relevant personnel for training both within and outside the region.
Sidi Keita is the Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs.
As the ministry responsible for statistics in this country, we have had several meetings with GBOS and development partners on the census preparation and resource mobilization exercise, and it is certain that we are ready to conduct the census in May 2024. We will ensure that resources are provided on time to implement the census activities as planned.
The 2024 census will respond to the data needs of the National Development Plan 2023-2027 and provide data for monitoring Regional ECOWAS Vision 2050, Continental Africa Agenda 2063, and the Global Agenda 2030. The digital 2024 census will involve the use of tablets for data capture instead of traditional paper questionnaires. The census will also use Geographic Positioning System, GPS, to capture the location of structures. Advanced data quality assurance procedures, including the use of real-time data quality monitoring and enumeration tracking dashboard for complete and accurate data, will be put in place for efficient and effective implementation of the census. For QTV News, I am Julde Njai.
Kansala Trust Organization in the West Coast region held its International Cultural Festival over the weekend in Buyam in Fonyi, Kansala. The event was attended by the Ministers for Public Service and Defense, respectively. Babakar Sisa was there and he filed its report.
The organizers say the event includes wrestling, masquerade dance, and male initiation ceremony called Futampaf in the Jola language. The aim is to pass on the tradition and culture values down through the generations and to promote unity in the communities in Fonyi Kansala. Usman Jaju is the CEO of Kansala Trust Organization.
As we celebrate the second edition of the Futampaf International Cultural Festival, I am confident the festival will make an important step towards preserving and promotion of cultural heritage of this Fonyi region and the Gambia. We should also adequately socialize in our cultures for the purpose of effective transmission to the future generation.
Babukar Boy, the Minister for Public Service, read a statement on behalf of the Vice President.
Futampaf is a school of training for the young ones from childhood to adulthood. The cultural event provides important training, social and economic benefits, and can increase tolerance and opportunities to come together with others from different cultures and beliefs. Kansala Trust Organization, in partnership with the National Center for Arts and Culture, wants to inscribe the Futampaf as an annual event. I want to register government's readiness to work with you and call on the National Center for Arts and Culture to work hard in helping this rich culture to be inscribed in UNESCO's annual calendar.
Almame Jiba, the National Assembly member for Fonyi Kansala, spoke about the importance of culture.
Culture is as important as our life. Culture begins in life, and culture will also end with life. Without life, no culture, and without culture, no life. So I believe so we should stand firm to make sure we will not eradicate our culture come what may.
Yankuba Dabo, chairman of the Brikama Area Council, promised that with more support from his council next year, the event will be bigger and better. He also spoke about the theme of the event and how such activities will promote tourism.
The theme of this event is unity through culture. The aim is simply to unite the people, many people who have different perception about the Jola culture, to be able to see it and be able to experience it and be able to get entertainment out of it. We want this to be an added bonus to tourism in the country. So whenever people come to visit the country, they're also able to see the culture and experience it.
Sekuna Baji, the chairman of Councillor Trust Organization, thanked the Gambia Tourism Board, Brikama Area Council, the National Center for Arts and Culture, and UNESCO, among others, for supporting the event. Certificates were awarded to partners for their immense support towards the success of the Tampa International Cultural Festival. Babukar Sise, QTV News.
From that story by Babukar Sise, let's now take a look at news beyond our borders. The head of the emergency response in Sudan for Doctors Beyond Borders says at least 13 children die each day of severe malnutrition at the Zamzam camp in Sudan's northern Darfur as a consequence of the 10-month war in their country. Jordan Jai again.
The situation in Zamzam, a camp of more than 300,000 people, was originally formed by people fleeing ethnically targeted violence regions in 2003. The camp is in a dire situation with children dying every 2 hours due to malnutrition and lack of health care, according to Clara Nicole, head of emergency response in Sudan for Doctors Without Borders, also known as MSF. However, since war broke out between Sudanese military and paramilitary forces in April 2023, camp residents have been cut off from vital humanitarian aid and medical care, the group said in a statement. Those with severe malnutrition who have not yet died are at a high risk of dying within 3 to 6 weeks if they do not get treatment, Nicole said. There have been no food distribution from the World Food Programme since May. People are going hungry and children are dying as a result, Nicole added. The head of the UN Refugee Agency said that without additional support, refugees from Sudan will attempt to make their way to Europe. The Europeans are always so worried about people coming across the Mediterranean. Well, I have a warning for them that if they don't support more refugees coming out of Sudan, even displaced people inside Sudan, we will see an onward movement of people towards Libya, Tunisia, and across the Mediterranean, UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi, said. There is no doubt, he added. More than 9 million people are thought to be internally displaced in Sudan, and 1.5 million refugees have fled to the neighboring countries in 10 months of clashes between the Sudanese military, led by General Abdel Fattah Burhan, and the Rapid Support Forces, a powerful paramilitary group commanded by General Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo. The conflict erupted last April in the capital Khartoum and quickly spread to other areas of the country. Grandi said several countries neighboring Sudan, Chad, Central African Republic, South Sudan and Ethiopia have their own fragilities and will be unable to give refugees enough assistance. He said that refugees will move further towards northern countries like Tunisia, where some have been documented planning to cross to Europe. When refugees go out and they don't receive enough assistance, they go further, Grandi said. Regional partners in Africa have been trying to mediate an end to the conflict, along with Saudi Arabia and the United States, which facilitated several rounds of unsuccessful indirect talks between the warring parties. Burhan and Dagalo are yet to meet in person since the conflict began. For QTV News, I am Julden Yai.
That is all we have time for. Thank you so much for watching. And do not forget to tune in at 9 p.m. for an interesting episode of Youth Dialogue. Thank you so much for watching.